There we go.
All right, this meeting of the library board is called to order.
Wow, that's nice.
Wait, that's pretty awful. Like, I don't know if that was pretty trusty.
It's the plastic table. It needs wood.
Are you volunteering to go? Yeah, I haven't had to kick anyone out of these meetings, and I'm a little bit disappointed.
That's true. We're too tame.
Okay. We'll confirm that the meeting is being recorded. And it is recording, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then we'll call attendance. Tyler Crook, present. Jennifer Eccles.
Present.
Excellent, thank you, Jennifer. Kipola Napoleon.
Here.
Tracy Dillon.
Present.
Amy Sims.
Here.
Catherine Lundquist. Not here. Robin Onstadt.
Here.
Vicky Hernandez. No. Sarah Frost
Here.
and Crystal Stevens.
Present.
Excellent. We have a quorum. Are there any additional questions or changes to the agenda? The only thing I added was to remind everyone to use the online time card to record that we've been at these meetings, but I'll mention that again at the end of the thing. Doesn't look like we have any presentations scheduled unless somebody has something they want to present. All right, then we can move on to, oh, I'm sorry, we need to approve the meeting minutes from June 20th. Would anyone like to motion that?
Sure. I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Approve.
This is gonna be fun. It's time to spice some things up.
Yeah,
Bison, I like that. That's a word. It totally is.
okay, then we can move on to reports. Library director report from Sarah Frost.
I've got some things to share. Welcome back, everybody. Oh, and hi, Gary, see you made it too.
Okay, made it.
I'm not sure where to start, so which is why I made myself notes. So I will just start with, it was a very busy summer. We had our busiest summer in my 7 summers this summer. That totally made sense. Totally. Which was amazing. We had near double the amount of programs we had last year, coming in, and whatever my report said, about 57 or so programs, and over 1,100 people attending those programs. It was phenomenal, and we are so fortunate that we were well staffed between Carla and myself and our teams and support from City Hall. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure Carla and I wouldn't have made it through the summer. So yay for being staffed. Thank you, City Hall. It was amazing, and we're coming in off of summer, and typically in years past we see a nice little dip in usage at the library once people start getting back into their routines and their school schedules, but I am here to share that no, we're not slowing down. So just last week we saw just shy of another 200 people in the library, so which is wonderful, but it is back down to just Carla and I, so we haven't really gotten too much extra stuff done, but that's okay. We're serving patrons, and it's nice to have people back in the library. Our volunteers did a phenomenal job this summer, who ran some of our additional programs, talking about the library and inviting people to the library, and we signed up so many new families at the library. So it was a wonderful summer, and we're coming in off of that. So a few updates as we head into September and the fall. I invited the library directors from Sheridan and Confederated Tribes to a meeting at the end of August. so that we can start collaborating better on how to utilize the services we're all offering in our individual communities and leverage that amongst each other. So we're not all doing all the things ourselves. So what that might look like is Sheridan Library, has staff dedicated to youth programming, and they offer a really nice schedule. And out in Grand Ronde, Kathy's got some really great funding out there, and she can bring in additional authors for visits and programs, such as our performers. So leveraging that, and then leveraging a little bit of my technical skill. One of the things I'm going to do this week, now that I've gotten some information from them, is put out our first Libraries of the West Valley newsletter. So, and that will help get information out to our community members about things we're all doing versus just what one individual library is doing. And we're really excited about that collaboration, and we're hoping that we can help support each other better through that. The other thing we have done is there was a high need identified in feeding community members and youth. And with the heat wave we had in August, a high water need. So just on a whim, I started looking for a refrigerator besides our mini fridge to be able to support that need. And we've torn apart our kitchen, and last week we soft launched our kitchen pantry, where we've moved all of our food into there. And it's very highly used. In fact, just today, 25 people stepped foot in there to utilize the food pantry, and we don't even have the fridge yet. So, and we hope that that's coming soon. So that's one need that we've been working to address. And then the other thing is our volunteers, Richard Guscott and Pam McGivney and Meredith identified the fact that they have very busy schedules, and some of them are going to go back to work full time. And we're like, how do we keep the library programming essential and engaging and moving forward, even though all of our volunteers have to go back to real world jobs? So they had this idea to start a library youth program committee. We've had 2 meetings now, and our 3rd meeting will be next month, and we'll be moving forward with hopefully some really thoughtful, engaging programs. And we've connected with Audrey McLean in Sheridan, who is trying to get a nonprofit started over there to offer enhancements, enrichment programs for families, especially those who homeschool. And so she'll be coming to our meetings now so that we can again continue to bridge those services between our 2 communities. And we've hired a position, which is really exciting. So City Hall determined that they had a need this summer and that they were going to hire a part-time office clerk. And I said to my boss, man, it's too bad we can't leverage that, and I can also hire a part-time person at the same time, and we could offer a full-time position. 2 days later, my boss said, that's a really good idea, we should do that. And within a matter of a couple of days, a job description was put together for a dual rate office coordinator library clerk position, which fills 2 part-time positions but offers full-time benefits at a dual rate. So at the office coordinator pay scale, which I cannot afford, and then the library pay scale over here. And Richard Guscott will be joining us starting next week. So I'm really excited to get him back. I did not make the hiring decision. Those who were involved in the interview process with me did, even though I did sit in on the interviews. And the staff over there are really excited to have his excitement and enthusiasm that he has here at the library over in their office. And then of course we're excited too, because if there's anything that Richard brought to this team, that connection with our families and youth, and we haven't been able to fill that And he continued to volunteer throughout the summer and keep that peace for us when we just couldn't meet that need. So welcome back.
So I'm so excited. Yeah, thank you.
And let's see, West Valley Library Summer Reading Program, Community Kitchen, Program Committee, Library Clerk position, I'm done.
Have you officially started or?
Next week, I think, is my official start, at least at the office and then a little bit over here. And then
Okay.
the week after that, you'll see me at office. So
Are you gonna do a little over there and then a little over here in one day, or will you do like 2 days over there, 3 days over? Like-
yeah, it'll be a little over there and then a little over here. So I'll use my lunch to go grab my child, get something to eat, and then we'll come hang out here. So, yeah.
Sounds
That's really exciting.
Right, yes, a small town rodeo, yes.
Okay, library board member reports. As the chair. I don't know if I have much to report as the library board, we've just sort of cranked along.
You can share about our grant, because I completely forgot to. That we were invited to apply.
Oh.
Yeah,
I would have to read about it, I can't remember enough to tell about it.
I forgot to share this. I submitted a letter of interest to Oregon Community Foundation back in June, which by the way, Kat, I got your email. Thank you very much. I did look at that. Oregon Community Foundation invited us to apply for the fall. It's for a $20,000 grant, and it's for our what did I name that project? Technology improvement, something. Chromebooks, new computers, hotspots, services, etc.
That's
So,
awesome.
so we'll apply. I'll finish that up hopefully by the end of this week. It's due on the 27th, and then we'll hear in November if we'll be awarded to the grant. So that's super exciting.
That's super exciting.
And a lot of that was the work that those grant students did for us from PSU. I mean, without them, I wouldn't have even thought about it because my brain was done all summer. It's about the worst time of year to write a grant. It's
Where else are the students located at? Are they all in Portland or are they sort of spread around?
They're mostly in Portland, they're spread around. I even have out of state students too, because they class is basically online. So I can get somebody doing their grant in Massachusetts, you know, as long as I can get good communication, we can do it that way, but most of the students are.
Okay. I was just
They're
thinking,
pretty
it would
good
be
about coming out to visit, they say, right? It's more-
Yeah. This past group was the best group we've had. I take that back. The group you worked with to do our logo,
That was pretty.
they were exceptional. This group though had every other week check-ins with us. And it was amazing. They were the most engaged students I've worked with so far in the however many years we've been doing this now. So.
have they been able to come out to the library to check it out?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
That's amazing, Tracy. I mean, I wish I had a class to do my grants. I mean, I definitely am
Well,
learning.
let's talk. Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I just got a mentor for helping with the museum grant through the Oregon Parks and Rec. I'm excited.
We do that in winter. The problem is I now only teach class in winter, so I used to teach it winter and summer, so it's a nice kind of staggered.
Mhm.
Look at all these grant writers that the library spits out.
It's awesome. All right, anywho,
Yes.
And speaking of future grant writers, hey, Paula, do you want to talk about the 501c3?
Sure, yeah. The 501c3, we met on August 31st and we established a board. And we are pushing forward to write bylaws and a mission statement, and we are going over documents at home right now, and we will meet again on October 3rd. And I saw 6 p.m. in our notes, but at the meeting I recorded 6:30. Do you remember if it was 6:30 or 6?
For some reason, my memory was that it was at 5.
I remember when Al said getting back from independence was gonna be a massive challenge for her, so, I think it was at least 6, so. I would say 6 o'clock is a safe time to show up if you'd like to join us and be a part of this, writing these documents. And we just really need to express how grateful we are for Marianne Lucas. She is the driving force behind this because she has all the experience, the knowledge, and basically has everything in a template form, boilerplate for us to go in and work with. So she's streamlining it, she knows what to do, and it's making it really easy for us. So she's amazing and wonderful to work with as well. And then on the fundraising aspect, Tyler and I tried to recruit at National Family Night Out, and we sold raffle tickets for our barbecue raffle basket, our summer fundraiser sponsored by Skyworks. And we got the word out about our library. We gained a couple folks who wanted to bake for the bake sale at the Art Tour fundraiser event. And we also got some information for a gentleman who would like to volunteer for youth services. And then the barbecue raffle basket, we drew the winner at the summer reading celebration. And that happened to be my mother who won the basket. She was, oh my gosh, so excited. And this is the first thing I've ever won in my life. And she really enjoyed the basket. So thank you to Isla and Skyworks for putting that together. We were able to, with a $400 donation toward the basket, the raffle basket made $601 this year.
That's great.
Yeah, for the summer. Our next meeting will be on October 8th at 2 p.m. That's a Sunday, and we will be getting ready for Art Tour, which will happen on November 10th and 11th. Thank you.
6:30
Thank
p.m.
you.
You said it's October 8th.
October 8th at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
Your 501c.
Oh, the 501c3 meeting is 6:30 p.m. Thank you. You told me, thank you.
Quick question, for folks on that committee, did you get my, email?
I did get it.
I'm getting nervous because of hearing Google. Actually, at PSU, we're kind of a Googly system, you never know, but email from students have been just going straight to spam. You know, and nobody knows why.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that was
Your stuff was getting bounced.
David, David Bates, who's writing that article, that's initially, when he first reached out to me, that email went straight to the junk folder. And so he actually pinged me on Facebook of all places, like, I happened to send you an email, and sure enough, I went back and looked, I'm like, it landed in the junk folder, I am so sorry about that. So, yeah, it's just email land. So hopefully you're all getting my emails, because I sent out plenty of them.
All right, so the next member report would be Tracy Dillon about the CCRLS rural lay member.
Oh. Well, there is a new lay member. I'm on the CCRLS. I think this is my last year doing that. The two, were you there at the September 7th meeting? First meeting was September 8th. I can't claim that I was there then. But so it goes. But I think the two biggest bits of information that are exciting for me anyway is Doug Yancey, who's been the acting director for years, at least a couple.
Which time?
Yeah. Has taken the position permanently, so I think we really got fortunate with that. He's outstanding, very organized, very thorough. And then I was on a committee to pick a new Yamhill lay rural person, and that person's outstanding. I wish I could remember her name.
Unfortunately, not off the top of my head, and I had just met her in September.
Terrific, very well qualified, so, and other than that, those are the two big highlights on my in my Anything to add?
No.
We're just kind of ramping up.
So, yeah, it was the first meeting of the year, and I go to those meetings because I'm the small libraries representative, as a voting member, on the CCRLS council. So it's made up of a Polk County rep, a Marion County rep, Yamhill, Polk, Marion County reps, a rural rep, which is Tracy, small libraries rep, medium libraries rep, and large libraries rep, which are one large library is Salem. And that makes up our voting board for the CCRLS council, which is who Doug reports to.
Well, may I also add, I forgot to mention our interim board for the 501c3, who that all is. I will be running as president. Tracy will be our vice president, and then we have Marion as the secretary and Pamela McGivney as the treasurer. Forgot that her. She will be the treasurer,
Will be
yes.
the treasurer.
So what's the other one? I'm sorry, Kate Paul is president, Tracy is vice president,
Marion Lucas is secretary,
and then treasurer was,
Pamela McGivney,
got it, okay. Thank you.
yes.
All right, are there any other reports? None. Continued business, the collection development policy review. I've been working on that with Jennifer, and unfortunately I had a bunch of work stuff come up and went MIA. So we haven't gotten very, very far with it, beyond just sort of a rough outline. And that outline, off the top of my head, it's like, it's basically like setting the framework for what the policy would be, and then a description of how we acquire materials, and then a description of how we remove materials, and that's basically it. What the idea is basically just to sort of simplify the document and make it as concise and clear as possible. So hopefully by next month we'll have made some more progress on that and have something to actually look at. New business. The library board charter. There's a lot of exciting movement with that.
All of a sudden, I have to apologize. When I reported back to you on this in spring of last year, I was under the impression that the charter had moved forward through its next step in the process, only to learn that it had not. So with my boss's blessing, I moved on it rather quickly and got it to legal. And the email I sent out this morning is the reviewed document, the reviewed charter by legal. She had no changes to make other than formatting. And then she did submit an ordinance to me that I can share with the city manager to make it official through city council. And basically what the ordinance will do will say in a nutshell that we are taking the old charter and the language hasn't changed from it. We're implementing it into an updated charter and adding to verbiage that is already there in the charter to make it clean that way. And she did recommend bringing it back to the library board for another vote, just to basically get on record that you guys have reviewed the attorney's exhibit. And then I can take that exhibit and work up a staff report, and then work with Bridget to get an ordinance number assigned, and then get it to city council realistically in November, just because of my October schedule. And then that will take the charter that you worked on so hard and make it official. And that gives our new board members an opportunity to also see the library charter as is and as recommended by the library board. So this evening, I would invite the chair to open up any discussion you'd like to have, on the conversation, and then to, potentially ask for a motion to once again approve the attorney reviewed, charter to go to city council.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Perfect.
Well, I have not had a chance to actually read the whole thing, but my feeling about it is generally that it was approved by the library board already, and that all the changes are superficial, and so it's, if we had all sort of working under the assumption that it was already done, like, doesn't seem like a big reason to dig into it, unless anybody has any objection, and if you do, it'd be great to talk about it. Fun even.
I don't have any objection. I had just noticed in this to the city, to the mayor and all that. It does say under the whereas portion, ordinance 496, September 25th, 2980. So-
We'll be cleaning this document up.
I just felt like, what did I read?
Yeah, it's a very, very rough draft.
Okay.
With some basic verbiage in there, we would need to take it to city council, but, yeah, we'll have to clean that document up a little bit.
Okay. Just wanted to let you know. Okay.
But this gives you a great view of how this works through its process too, because I know that had been a question last time that I didn't have an answer for, other than to say it's moving through its process. Well, now we are moving it through its process, at a level, so.
When I liked how the email you sent out, it showed where the corrections were made,
Yes.
which made it very easy to follow along and then,
See it and
yeah.
get to the parts.
So I think we could either approve it tonight, if everyone's comfortable with that, or we could take the next month to approve it. Would that mess up your schedule, Sarah, if we voted on it next month?
No, it would, not at all.
So
Better to vote on.
is it better, is that the consensus, is to vote tonight?
Just move on. I mean, it
Yeah.
seems like they're refining the issues.
Okay, no, yeah, let's do that then.
So I will move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor? Say aye.
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 Was that, is that unanimous? Those opposed? Okay, it is unanimous.
Come on, we wanted Tyler to use the gavel.
Almost forgot.
Gotta train the habit.
That'd be it.
It is done.
Make it so.
Okay, then the October meeting by Zoom only option.
It's a request by your library director. And the reason being, very selfishly, is I would like to take 3 weeks off in October. And not skip the board meeting, but also not be here to do all of this. So I'm making a request of the library board to move to push the October meeting to a virtual option. Unless my boss can come over and do all the setup for me. So, yeah.
If you wanted to do that, you can do that, but that's an option.
Fine with me.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me at all. I like
Sounds
to
good.
all Zoom. I think if everyone's on Zoom, I think it works great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so do we want to vote on that? Or do we want to just do it?
Do we
You
need to
can
vote?
motion and we'll make it official.
I'll motion to move the October meeting to Zoom only.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
It's once again unanimous.
Thanks. It's like a new toy.
It is, it's ridiculous. So what is the library code of conduct? That is some news.
This is new, yes.
Isn't it?
So it came up when we were talking in June or May, whichever, thinking back that far. I could look at the minutes, I suppose, about the photography policy, and somebody had asked the question about, well, could that be incorporated into our code of conduct? It's like interesting question. I went to pull our code of conduct. And wouldn't you know, of all of the policies the library board has looked at over the years, we have not looked at a code of conduct. Well, which is actually okay, not okay, but okay, because it gave me an opportunity to see what other libraries were doing for code of conduct. And really, at the end of the day, we're a city department, and it opened up a conversation with my boss in the city about the city's code of conduct when it comes to community members. So the ball has grown bigger than just outside the library. So instead of a library code of conduct, I've asked Bridget if we can work together for a more inclusive city code of conduct, which is what some libraries do, is adopt their city's code of conduct as their code of conduct, which spells out the library and the library's role as well. And then it's a blanket policy that anybody can speak to versus it just being City Hall or just being the library. So that will be in the works over time. We are not covered currently under our code of conduct, but those and the seats that are above me know that and know that that's something that we need to work towards as a whole city. So so more to come on that, but I did want to report back to it because I thought it was important to know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. So like that would work with, there'd be a specific policy for the whole city, but then also have some specific stuff for just the library too, right?
It just would make sure to cover the library, so.
Because it seems like there might be some things with privacy that might apply to the library, but not necessarily to like parks or whatever.
Yes, actually, and that is true, and we do have a pretty strong confidentiality agreement that our volunteers and our staff do have to sign outside the scope of the city, but that doesn't apply to city employees unless they work at the library, but that is outside the scope of a city policy.
Cool, that's exciting, that'll be fun.
Yay!
I mean.
For some people.
And then related to that, does that cover the photography policy? too?
No, it
Is that
doesn't.
a different thing?
So.
Oh, you have it.
Stole straight from another library, not gonna lie. It was,
Utilized your resource.
I utilized my resources. I did not recreate the wheel. I looked at several of them, and this was either McMinnville's or it was Newburgh's. I cannot recall. I looked at a lot of them. But this seemed to cover all the bases, I felt. So I wanted to bring this very, very rough draft to the library board to start the review process, because ultimately the library board will fine tune this. Yes. And then make a formal motion to approve it at some point, and then it will have to be adopted through city council since it's a policy that we'll adopt. So now it is before you so that you can move forward with it how you deem necessary and appropriate.
Okay, is there anybody on the board who would like to take a look at this and see if sort of shepherd it and make sure it's all good?
Can I ask a question just in general about this?
Yeah.
I learned about this when I was editing a magazine in Portland years and years ago. It sort of covered just, it was called Metroscape, it covered the metro region. And oftentimes we would cover elementary school events and things like this. And we found out that you absolutely cannot use pictures of kids. And so what concerns me here, and I'm not volunteering to shepherd. If anybody knows anything about this, so what I'm most concerned about is the library reserves the right to photograph and videotape program participates. These photos and videos may be used in library publications, maybe not if it's of kids. Is anyone heard of this? It's like a social media thing.
Why it's big. I've heard of a lot of that, I mean, the school asks you
Yeah.
before they are at school.
And they'll have, if you're gonna go into a classroom, then you get all the parents to sign waivers and stuff like this, but if you're just, so I'm more concerned not necessarily with strange people coming off the street and taking pictures, which clearly is their, well, gavel. Terminate their ability.
Yeah.
May terminate. I don't wanna be around that. But I'm more concerned that the library maybe steps into a difficult situation. Again, I'm always hypothetically imagining the absolute worst.
Where did this policy come from?
I'll have to trace it back. It was either McMinnville's or Newburgh's
I think you
policy.
sent it to me with some of the other stuff. I think it might be from Newburgh.
Yeah, it probably is.
So it'd be good maybe even to check with them and see like how they. Where this came from for them, because if they sort of just, like, if they sent it through their lawyers, then that would give me a little more. Like, that seems like they probably did their due diligence, but we should do our due diligence to see if they did their due diligence. We should double due diligence.
I'm writing that down, double due diligence.
Right, well, I can take this on and give it some thought and do some research on it. And see.
Yeah, and I'll reach out to Corey, Burkle, the library director out there too, and, they're a great resource because no other library in our system has been as challenged, by community members, in our cooperative as they have been, so their policies are holding the line, so, I'm a big fan of what Corey and her team are doing up there. But yeah, I will double check and to put any ease here, just as far as best practices go, just especially since we don't have a policy, our best practices have been not to share those photos, and or if there was going to be an opportunity to share photos, I've let people know, and then that way they can say, no, please not us. And one summer, actually, I even did the lanyard trial where people could get a lanyard and put it on their kids if they didn't want them in any photos. And then if I saw a child that had a lanyard, I knew not to use those photos. So we've tried to make sure for our library that we've followed that practice as best as we can. So
It's a pretty good point.
yeah. So it does get challenging though, because like, for anyone who was at our big summer celebration, there were 80 people who attended that. There was Kona Ice, there was Spider-Man, so photos are gonna get taken and photos are gonna get shared, but that's outside the building. Granted, it's still on public property, owned by the city, or well, rented technically over there by the city, leased. But it is challenging to, to navigate, but we as staff definitely have best practices in place to protect our families. And this is definitely a policy to protect our families from any other patrons, definitely. Though it is probably a good idea to just call it out from the staff side too.
Yeah, and it seems like it may also be worthwhile to just include photos and videos for security purposes. Just because that is,
Since we have a
since it's happening anyway, like.
No, that's a good idea to include the surveillance cameras in the. So I'll chew on this some more, get some more information and bring back some updates for next month. Is that okay with you guys?
Sure, yeah.
All right.
Okay, is there any public input? None.
You guys are doing great.
Well, you're public for like
Thanks,
another
Richard.
couple of days.
Yeah, for a couple more days.
All right, so now we can move on to the calendar. September 20th through the 23rd, the ARLS conference.
And I did it wrong and got my LNS backwards.
Oh,
I apologize. It should be Or soul, not organs. Association of Rural and Small Libraries. I'll be attending that conference virtually this week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, from the comfort of my home office chair. I've got some great programs to attend this year. I'm actually kind of excited. Last year I attempted to attend, but there's a lot happening last September. It's in Wichita, Kansas this year, and I'm able to attend virtually. And this is the best conference for a small library because it's geared towards small libraries. So of all the conferences that are out there, someday I'd like to actually make it to one of these conferences in real life. Yeah. Someday. So if anybody's ever interested in knowing what I'm attending, or if you guys want to report back on what I attended, I'm more than happy to do that. And or I'm more than happy to share with you,
It would
the
be
conference
great to
sessions.
hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be great.
All right, and then October 9th, the library will be closed for Indigenous Peoples' Day. And then on October 10th through the 27th, Sarah Frost vacation time / remote work. A little bit of a conflict.
It is. I'll take what I can get though. Unfortunately, I still have obligations, meetings to attend,
I have a motion. When you go on vacation, you don't work.
Is
If you have all the time.
that something you
I
can
second.
I think as a fourth, fifth.
It'll be very little work. I have our CCRLS youth committee meeting that'll be meeting in October, and it's the first one of the year, and it's really essential because we choose our performers for the next summer. And if I don't get in there and get my say so in, then small libraries are no. And then the other meeting I have is library board. And then we'll have our youth committee meeting and astronomy club meeting. So which are very important meetings. And those ones I'll be on site for because I can't look at the moon going. I know.
Can't read.
Can't remote and for looking at the moon. So yeah, it'll be good. This is the longest stretch of time off I've ever taken. So,
I think I'm gonna have to put Gracie on that topic.
yeah.
She'll have a long sheet.
There is, fun fact, there is an eclipse happening during this time,
Oh.
which is partially why I'm taking some time off. So if you're not busy the morning of October 14th, from this area, you can see a partial of the annular eclipse, roughly around 9:15 in the morning is when it'll hit its peak. I do have eclipse glasses here, limited supply. And so if you need some, please come see me for some. I'll be out of town in Walport so that I can actually see the full ring of fire. And then Grace has her first outdoor school during October, a week and a half after that. And so I'll be going to stay at the coast during her outdoor spring time. So
You said the eclipse was on the 14th?
eclipse is on Saturday, the 14th.
All right.
And October 21st, since I'm on a roll, is International Observe the Moon Night. So if you're feeling like something to do, astronomy club meeting will happen at 6 p.m. here. And then after, we'll set up telescopes, weather permitting, to talk about, learn about, and observe our moon on that night, which will also be a good opportunity to talk about light pollution and its impact on our ability to see into the night sky and look at the moon through the telescopes from our location here at the library. Yes,
Tell me that date again.
That one is on October 21st. Yes, no, I will be done sharing that one out. Done sharing.
All right, that does it. The last thing to cover is I want to remind everyone that we have an online time card form to fill out. As soon as I get home after this, I'll send out a link to it to remind everybody, but that's just helpful for showing that the library has volunteers putting in hours and helps with grants and all sorts of stuff.
Yes.
And with that,
Move adjourned.
we're adjourned.
6:48, but that heavy agenda? That was lovely.
All right.
Just keep us moving right along.
I know.
Thanks, everybody, for coming tonight.